everyone. We are live.
Good evening, everybody. Well, young Roadrunners, soon to be Roadrunners, we appreciate you and your families joining us today. I'm Mr. Bell. I'm your principal. Nice to virtually see everybody and hopefully soon to be see everybody live in August.
I'm Jennifer Calderon. I am your assistant principal, and I'm looking forward to meeting you next year as you become Roadrunners.
And I'm Mr. Jones, the vice principal here at Hesperia Junior High, and I'm excited to see you guys also in August. Can't wait for you guys to get here.
I'm Mrs. Azuelas. I'm one of the counselors, and I will be the 7th grade counselor next year when you come to Hesperia Junior High.
I'm Carrie Acosta. I am currently the 7th grade counselor. I will be the 8th grade counselor next year. Can't wait to meet all of you.
Well, we want to get this night off and going. So just want to welcome everybody, parents, students. Welcome to Hesperia Junior High. We are your neighborhood junior high, middle school here in Hesperia. And welcome to all of those that are wanting to come to Hesperia Junior High or are going to be at Hesperia Junior High that aren't necessarily in our neighborhood. We really, really appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of you. That is a feather in our cap. There are a lot of students that would like to be here and will be here from outside of our direct boundaries. So we're really proud of that. Again, you know, something we're really proud of is the fact that Hesperia Junior High has a lot to offer our students. We have a lot to contribute, a lot of opportunities for you guys, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So make sure that you guys are paying attention and that you're taking advantage of some of the opportunities that this lovely team of people are going to be explaining today.
Okay. One thing you'll notice when you come to junior high is it might be a little bit different. In elementary school and 6th grade, you might have maybe the same teacher all day or maybe possibly 1 or 2 teachers. But when you come to junior high, a lot of times you have more than 1 teacher. And so your schedule is going to consist of 7 periods, class periods. They're all about 45, 48 minutes long. And this is an example schedule of what you'll have. You'll have a language arts class. Everyone will have a social studies class. We usually have a nutrition break in the morning. And then everybody has PE, everybody has math and science. But then we have 2 open periods for elective classes. And those are the classes that you get to choose. We have reading support, and we also have study skills for the kids who might need a little bit of extra help. But we have asked your 6th grade teachers for recommendations on what classes students should go into. So while some people might be able to pick 2 electives, other students may need that extra support and may have a reading class in addition to an elective. We always have a lunch break, and then we have 7 periods throughout the day.
Now, this may look familiar to you if you've already gone online to look at what we're offering for electives, or maybe you've already chosen your electives. But if you haven't, we have it broke down by year-long electives that need approval from the advisors, and our semester electives. And so all of the electives that have blue, if you click on one of those, it will pull up a video that the teacher has prepared to explain the elective and what it's all about. With our semester electives, you are choosing both of those. And we're going to go into detail on exactly how to choose both those classes in the next slide. But for example, if you want construction exploration, you will also have robotics the 2nd semester, or vice versa. Start with robotics and end up with construction. We're really proud to offer the CTE courses. Those are college and technical education, and we kind of partner with Hesperia High School, so our students have the opportunity to take these CTE courses that then they can continue on that path when they go to Hesperia High School. The CTE courses we offer have the red asterisk next to them, so we're really excited. That's kind of a new program. This will be the 2nd year next year that we've really launched into that. Mr. Bell will probably talk more about that. But this is basically all the elective offerings we have. One thing I wanted to mention, if you are interested in ASB, Avid, beginning journalism, which is also our yearbook class, you will need to click on the red right there where it says interest form. That will take you to a short survey to fill out, and it will send it directly to the advisors of those particular classes, teachers and advisors, and then they can go from there, and they will contact you with either an interview or an application. So make sure you fill out that interest form.
Sorry about that, Ms. Costa. You will fill out the interest form and then make sure you select it when you select your electives. And we have a demonstration on how to select your electives. We have a video that you can click on to watch. You'll do that in Infinite Campus using your Infinite Campus logon information. Your parent can also do it through the parent portal of Infinite Campus. And then we have printed instructions. So where you have the red down here is where you can click on the instructions on how to do that. When you go in, you'll scroll through and find the electives that you want. And what I would recommend you do is you look at this slide, and I would have a piece of paper next to you and write down what your choices are. So you're going to want to pick your top 2 choices, and then you'll want to pick 3 just in case choices. And the reason is we always try to put you in your top 2 first your choices, but sometimes we have problems, a class being full, or it might not work in your schedule, or maybe we come back in the fall and we don't offer that class anymore. So you want to pick at least 5 classes that you know you'll like for the year. So you'll pick, I would write them down. I'd write down 1 through 5 on your paper. And so you have the classes when you go into Infinite Campus, and then you'll choose 2 electives and 3 alternates. It kind of gets tricky when you want to choose a semester elective because you're taking 2 classes, but you're only going to choose 1. So when you're in Infinite Campus, if you decide you want graphic exploration and career exploration, you're only going to choose graphic exploration, but you will end up having both. You'll have one semester and the second one the other semester. And you can always email us if you have questions. What's important to remember, and this is in the video instructions, is when you pick your electives, it's not going to tell you that you're 100% scheduled. Don't worry about that. Ms. Acosta and I will pick your core classes, which are your math, language arts, social studies, and science. So pick 2 of your top 2 electives and then 3 alternates.
I am really excited to see what's going on in our chat right now. So there are a lot of questions about HJH offerings, i.e. what clubs do we have on campus? What sports do we have on campus? Listen, guys, the name of the game is get involved. The more involved with school you are, the more familial it's going to feel to you, the more family-like it's going to be, and the more successful you will be at academics and in school in general. You're going to build that camaraderie, that friendship with students that are like-minded, either in the sport that you're in or in the academic area that you're in, whether it's ASB, Avid, or others. We have a ton of clubs on campus. We have everywhere from things you see there, from book club to a fitness club. One of our coaches runs a fitness club after school. We have esports, and yes, our esports is competitive. One of our teachers runs an esports club after school, and we do compete against other schools. A little feather in our cap, a little kudos to our teams. Last year, before we went on distance learning, one of our 8th graders came in 2nd place, beating out several high school students in one of our HUSD esports tournaments. So we're pretty stacked with clubs. Again, sports are going to be offered as the numbers get better and as the state allows us to open up. So for instance, yesterday we had our first cross country meet in person. Kids were out running. Coaches were out there. We were cheering everybody on, obviously with masks and different regulations that we had to follow. Again, I cannot emphasize enough, please, please, please do yourself a favor, get involved, play a sport, try something new. If you want to start a club, you're on your own. You can ask for a teacher advisor to the club. We can provide you with any paperwork that you might need to submit the paperwork to ASB, but you can absolutely start a club if you're interested in starting a volleyball club, a wrestling club. We have a skate club, yes, skateboarding. Our kids will get together in the afternoons and put out little junior high age appropriate ramps and skate around and just kind of talk to students that are like-minded. We also have, Ms. Acosta said and touched on, our CTE parents. That's one of the things we are very proud of and very happy. We were saddened that we weren't able to get those off the ground physically, but we're happy because Hesperia High has a very robust CTE career technical education program, and we wanted to tie into that to make sure that as our students move on to Hesperia High, that they could have some kind of an experience that would allow them to maybe hone in or better refine their choice of possibly a career or a college. And so we do have an AVID program as well, but our CTE classes, again, graphic design career explorations. We have culinary arts and child development, digital media, robotics. Our construction tech class is pretty stacked as well. That's going to be a good experience for some of our kiddos to have, which again can tie into the DEMA Academy at Hesperia High. They might have some not regulations, but some criteria to get into that program. But hopefully with the experience that our kids have here, they can do a little bit better when they are able to join those programs at Hesperia High. Once again, get involved, guys. That's again going to build that family feel to what we have going on here at Hesperia Junior, and then you guys will be used to it, so that when you get to the high school there at Hesperia, you guys will have that leg up on everybody else. And so again, get involved, whether it's sports or after school activities. It's going to keep you grounded, it's going to keep you focused, and it's going to keep you successful here at Hesperia Junior.
Speaking of sports, Mr. Bell, I see a lot of questions about basketball and baseball. We don't offer baseball. We do have basketball. This year we started some sports, so we do anticipate having some sports, if not all the sports next year. And part of being in those sports is your GPA and keeping your grades up and doing the best you can in your classes. And if you are struggling with your academics, if you need that a little extra help in whatever subject or in all your subjects, shortly after school starts, usually about 6 weeks, we start after school tutoring up. And that usually goes right after school for about an hour. We usually have transportation for those who qualify for transportation, and we hire college tutors. We hire some teachers to come in there after school and help you guys out. And you're not locked in. If you need help, say math for one day, you can go on a Monday, and then maybe you might need some extra help 2 weeks later for language arts. Go ahead and go, or go every day. So we provide that assistance, that support for you to keep keep your grades up, to stay in those sports, to maintain your grades, and to do the best you can in your academics. Speaking of academics, Ms. Calderon, you want to touch on academics?
Yes, I am feverishly typing as I go into the chat. So if there's a pause in responses, I am trying to answer all your questions. So I guess I can do this verbally before I talk about academics, but people are asking about this ASB form. Previously in the chat, I did put the presentation that you guys are seeing. If you go to our website, I guess let me go ahead and just share my screen with you guys so I can show you where I'm at, and then I'll kind of talk about academics because it kind of relates to this. So give me 1 second as I go ahead and show you what this looks like. So here is our website. Our website is pretty much the hub of everything that you need to know on campus. So if you are interested right now in getting all this information, you're going to actually scroll down where it says 6th grade registration information. As you click that, it's going to take you to this page where you may have seen this flyer passed on by your 6th grade teacher or on our social media. So what you want to do is right here where it says check out the presentation, you're going to go ahead and click this, and this is the presentation. So as Mrs. Azuelas was talking about in regards to the classes, I'm sorry, Ms. Acosta was talking about in regards to if you want to apply for ASB or AVID or any of these programs up here, you can click right here where it says interest form. If I click that, it's going to open up a Google form, and I'm going to go ahead and fill that out if I want that specific elective. So again, this is where you're going to find this presentation to get all of the links to watch the tutorial videos to register for your classes. So hopefully that is helpful. Again, you guys can continue to ask questions in the chat, but just in regards to academics, number one, you got to show up for school, whether we're on a distance learning platform or you're in class. You got to make sure you're ready to go. Your Chromebook's fully charged. You have supplies that you need. And if you don't have the supplies that you need to let your teachers know so we can get you the supplies. We're here to support you. We're a family. And if you want to participate in sports and things like that on campus, you have to keep your grades up. So again, classes can be hard, they can be challenging, but this support team, along with your teachers and instructional aides and pretty much anybody on campus, is more than willing to help you. So 7th grade or middle school might seem a little bit intimidating. I think I saw in the chat someone said seven classes. Yes, 7 classes, but just think of how much fun you're going to meet. You're going to meet new people, you're going to have different teachers, and it's going to be a blast.
Ms. Castro, we do have a soccer team, and they're starting right now, and we have that every year. We have a soccer team. Mrs. Walker, you do not have to sign up for tutoring. You could just show up for tutoring when you need it. Let's see some other questions on the side there.
NOB had a question. NOB, you asked about esports. The only game that I know we played last year was Overwatch. There were others. I don't remember what that was. Parents, you may be hearing esports and thinking, oh God, they're going to just let the kids play video games. Not the case. In fact, there are a ton of schools out there, and I mean colleges, that are paying a ton of money for students who are pretty much masters at esports to play on their teams. And yes, there are a lot of esports players making over $200,000 a year, winning tournaments in either team or single events. And so esports, graphic design, and video game design is turning into an industry, has turned into an industry that can provide a lot of success for our students. And so we want to make sure that we're getting into that, tapping into that industry, and providing that opportunity for our kiddos.
Some questions in regards to academics. Someone asked, do we have computers for you? With junior high comes one-to-one devices, which means you actually will be responsible for your Chromebook device. You'll bring it to and from school every day, to and from home every day. So like I said, you want to make sure that Chromebook's fully charged. That's pretty much your gateway to doing instruction in your classes. One of the parents said that course registration in Infinite Campus is not giving her the option to do it. So it might be in regards to the students' side that they'll be able to do that. Counselors, is that correct?
Parents should be able to do it from their end. If she calls in tomorrow, one of our assistants can help her. They're very good at walking you through it. They can do it step by step. If your student is waiting for a transfer and is not from in our bounds and you're waiting for a transfer, it may not show up until they are accepted. But if your student is one from our feeder schools and belongs at our school and you still can't find it, then I would call in for some assistance.
Ms. Shira Williams, you asked, can you explain ASB? Yes, ma'am. So ASB is basically it's a class and a club, and those students are responsible for basically raising funds, controlling what clubs are allowed on campus, what clubs are not. A misconception out there might be that the principal or the principals kind of run and tell what clubs can be on campus. It's not really that. It's the associated student body. They're the ones that control our dances. They organize our dances. They approve minutes to start clubs. They make sure that everything is legal through what's called FCMAT. And I don't know what that acronym stands for, but I know Ms. Calderon and Mr. Jones, who are both ASB advisors, know what that means. Basically, it's the legal parameters that we're under. And this is a group of students and leadership that put together events, oversee how the clubs are spending their money, and make sure that everything's being done legally and not just willy-nilly spending money on things that are either inappropriate or not allowed through that government overwatch committee, which is basically FCMAT. AVID, somebody asked about AVID. I'm sorry, about ASB before I move on to AVID. There are, the teachers in ASB also do lessons around leadership, leadership skills, and things like that, or things of that nature. And so there are a lot of organizational skills and organizational leadership skills that our students learn through ASB. AVID. AVID is advancement via individual determination. That's another one of our feathers in our caps. It's another one of the things we're proud of. We are an AVID site, meaning that the majority of our staff here use AVID strategies, and therefore we have been deemed a site of distinction by the organization AVID. Again, that means that we are using AVID strategies, which are organizational skills. You know, it's funny because we tell our kids, well, you got to study more. Well, the question then is, how do I study? That's what AVID teaches. Those are the skills and some of the strategies that AVID focuses on. Some students you may talk to will tell you, oh, it's a lot of work. Don't listen. You guys can do it. It's work is not bad, right? It's very helpful in getting into college, especially when you're at the high school level. Again, feeder pattern, Hesperia High, another school that has a very robust, very, very good AVID program. And so going from our AVID program to Hesperia High's AVID program is only going to make you that much stronger to get into college, to help you apply for scholarships. And so now is the time. I was going to save this for the wrap up, but I'll say it now and I'll say it again. Now is the time. It is not a 7th and 8th grade thing and then high school. It's try to think of it, parents and students, as I'm starting 7th grade. I need 7th and 8th grade to get to 12th grade, get that diploma, get into a career technical school, the military, or college. So it's really a partnership between us, you folks as a family, as families, and our high school to get our 7th graders through the 12th grade. So again, get involved. They're both good programs to prepare you for the future.
There's so many comments in the chat.
I'll answer a few.
Yeah, go for it.
If you're looking for your activation code for Infinite Campus, because I'm sure after talking about that, you might need it, please call the counseling office tomorrow, and we'll get that activation code for you. Also, I see a lot of dress code. We do have a dress code, and we will go over that. We will be emailing out the student handbook with the dress code prior to you coming, and then when you get here, we'll also go over it. So there is a dress code definitely at the school. And there is a wrestling team, and there is and has been girls on the wrestling team, and a lot of times they're pretty good at wrestling. So that's a definite. Getting into clubs, usually they'll say a date, a time, and a place, and you show up for a lot of the clubs. Some of them you do have to apply, like ASB as a class. So there is an application, and what the counselors went over earlier, those application and forms, if they are a group club class, you will have to apply for those. And so,
sorry,
go ahead, Mr. Rowan.
Giselle Duran, you're asking what does it mean to keep your Chromebooks charged? Like Ms. Calderon said, at Hesperia Junior High and at the secondary level, middle school and high school, you're going to take your Chromebooks home. A lot of, if not all of our textbooks are going to be either on the Chromebook, or teachers are using programs and or curriculum, stuff that you need to know that has been gleaned from either websites or different articles online that you guys can read. You're going to need your Chromebook at home, basically. You're going to bring it back to school. You're going to take it home. So it's kind of a part of that responsibility of going from the elementary school now to the secondary school. Just make sure you plug it in at night. Like I know you've got your phones plugged in because we can't have our phones dying the next day. So plug in your phone, plug in your Chromebook at night. That's all it means. You'll be bringing them home and bringing them to school every day.
A lot of questions we've been asked of, is there still going to be distance learning next year? Are we going to be on hybrid? Are we going to be full force? Unfortunately, we don't have all the answers yet. Obviously, as you guys know, we're going to start hybrid with secondary next week. So as we find out information, we will be more than happy to update you. So in regards to what next year is going to look like, I know this is part of the counselor's presentation of following us on social media. Please follow us on social media. And I'm also seeing in the chat that some families are getting CMS calls, so Cedar Middle School calls instead of H2H calls. That is based upon if you're doing an interdistrict transfer or intradistrict transfer, you might not be on our call list yet. There's no real way to identify that yet because what we do is we get the rollover from our current students and that hasn't happened yet. So the best way to stay up to date on all our information would be to follow us on social media. And anytime you have a question, if it's not being answered there, you are more than welcome to call in. Even if you're not a current Roadrunner, you're going to be here next year. We want to help you and make sure you feel secure in coming here. I think those are some of the ones I saw. Anybody else see some that I didn't see?
Do we still have Ben? Yes, we still have Ben. When does school start? We'll be sending out the school or the student calendars in no time. Can you give us a computer? Julia Martinez, yes, you're going to get a Chromebook. We'll be sending out information on when you're going to be coming to school to pick up those Chromebooks. Wrestling team, yes, there are girls on the wrestling team. Can we have our phones on campus? Yes, you can physically have your phones on campus. As soon as that bell rings for school to start, your phone has to get turned off and put away. As soon as the bell rings for you to go home, you can get your phone out, call your parents, let them know where you're going to meet them, and or any other important information that you want to convey to them. But while you're on campus, and this is very important, while you're on campus, in class, at lunch, passing periods, you have to have your phones turned off and put away. Parents, sometimes that gets kind of touchy with some of our parents. However, it is a complete safety issue for us. We do have kids in locker rooms changing. We do have kids using the restroom. We obviously want to make sure that there's nothing going on there and that they're not filming or taking pictures of anything inappropriate during passing periods or anything like that. It's strictly a safety thing. It is a district policy. We do enforce it here. Please, please, please make sure that your phones are turned off and put away. We don't want them broken, stolen, or lost, or anything like that. So
someone's asking who the principal is. That is Mr. Bell. And then as part of that, in classes, in regards to classes, PE clothes. PE clothes will be available for purchase for next year if we are given the opportunity for students to dress out. So we will get you more information on that. And someone did ask, if you play a sport, does that count as PE? Unfortunately, at the middle school level, that does not happen. In regards to high school sports, those would be conversations that you have to have with the school site. So I remember I coached volleyball at one of the high schools, and if my players were in my certain PE class for volleyball, they got PE credit. But again, that doesn't happen at the middle school level.
You do have PE lockers, not regular lockers, but just lockers for PE, and they are your own for PE.
NOB,
and electives. AVID does count as elective. Someone asked, does AVID count as elective? Yes, it does.
NOB, great question, my friend. Can we keep our Chromebooks at school? No, sir. You must take your Chromebook back and forth to your house, to school. If you have your own computer, because we do a lot of our work on Google Drive, you can feel free to use your computer at home if you're more comfortable using that, but you do have to take your Chromebook back and forth. In the case of parents not wanting their students to use a Chromebook, there is paperwork that we can have you fill out to opt out of using the Chromebook. However, do understand, parents, that 98% of our textbooks are online or web-based, and that a lot of our work, if not all of our work, is done on the drive and is internet and or web-based.
We are getting questions about certain electives. In the presentation that we directed you guys to go to, if I were to click on art, I click this and there's actually a video that I could watch in regards to what the class has to offer. Someone was asking about digital design or graphic design or digital media. So if I click on that, it'll take me to a video that was created to tell you guys more about each of the programs. So again, going to our website, clicking on this 6th grade registration information, and clicking right here on this bit.ly to pull up this presentation. This is going to be your mother lode of information for everything that you need to know.
I saw a question where they asked if they could do AVID in 8th grade if they didn't want to do it in 7th, and that's absolutely yes. If you don't feel like trying for AVID in 7th grade but would like to apply for it in 8th, you can. And we have one, if you use your own Chromebook, can we use that instead of the schools? I believe you have to use the schools. Am I right, Edmund?
Yeah, and that's going to have to do with like network issues and or security issues with our network. Obviously, if there's kind of an emergent situation and or an extenuating circumstance, please have your parents call us. We'll discuss it with parents, and then we will discuss it with our with our IT department at the district level and see what we can do and or see if there's a workaround.
There are questions. Sorry, Carrie, go ahead.
I saw a question about textbooks, if they had to carry them back and forth from school, and the answer is no. Once your student receives their textbooks at the beginning of the year. Those books stay home. If there are any, most of them are becoming digital, but I think we have a couple that are still actual books. They will stay at home until the end of the school year, and then they will be returned.
People are asking about their access code for Infinite Campus. If you have a parent portal account and you could look at your kids' current grades for the 6th grade or whatever grade they're in, you should have access. So you should be already able to log in. If you do not have the access code, you can call your student's current school, or you can go ahead and call into us. We might be able to get you the information, but calling their home school right now, they'll be able to give you that access code. And do we have advanced placement classes or the GATE program? We actually have honors classes here at the middle school level. So the AP classes will take place at the high school.
Esports, we provide everything. You show up with your skills and win us awards.
Eating in class, we definitely discourage that. We allow you to eat during lunchtime. We'll give you time to eat before school, lunchtime. We also have nutrition when we're back at regular school that we give you time to eat during those times.
There's a question about what is Where Everybody Belongs, and that is actually an 8th grade class. We use that slide for both our 7th and 8th graders, and that is shortened, we call it WEB, and that is something that you can't apply for when you're in 7th grade, but you will become familiar with WEB because WEB students you'll have a buddy that is a WEB student that will help you kind of get through and navigate through the 7th grade. And hopefully when we return in August, we'll be able to have a WEB meeting or a orientation before school starts where you can meet the WEB people and they will show you around. So unfortunately, 7th graders cannot be in WEB, but they will have a WEB leader assigned to them to help them navigate 7th grade.
One thing cool about Web is that they go out and reach out and get connections and build opportunities for kids to meet each other. I saw a question earlier that the student was afraid or worried that they weren't going to make friends. Web's definitely helpful for that. Also, join a club or join a sport or join something, and that's a great way to make friends here at Hesperia Junior. And if you're coming from an elementary school, that's one of our feeders. A lot of your friends may already be coming up with you. So definitely, we see a lot of kids making new friendships here. And we encourage that very much so.
And again, that's gonna be the get involved part. You're gonna meet a lot of kids, a lot of friends that are into the same things as you are as soon as you start getting involved in sports and or clubs.
I just wanted to comment. I've seen a few questions or regarding when they're going to get their schedules. We were going to cover that later on, but I might as well say it now. So hopefully we will be back full time in August, but obviously we're not 100% sure what that's going to look like today. But we will either, if we are not back for some reason and we're in distance learning, they will be sent out electronically, of course. If we are able to, we will hopefully be able to have that web orientation. And then as part of that, you can pick up your schedule, get your books, walk around the campus. That's what we've done in years past. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to do that again this year. But you will get your schedule a few days before school starts.
Does someone want to touch upon all the sports we have here on campus?
Cecilia, sorry, Jen.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I apologize. Nob asks, can I choose 2 clubs or sports? Yes. And then Ms. Calderon, you said something about sports.
Yeah, someone said what sports are open. So right now, go ahead. You can go ahead and talk about it.
No, it's okay. I was going to answer some of the locker questions. You can hit the sports. And
okay. So sports right now are limited because we're in hybrid. So we're hoping next year they'll be open to regular season. So during the fall, we have volleyball, cross country. Guys, you have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm still in like the high school mentality. Winter sports, we have basketball and soccer. And then in the spring, we have wrestling. Well, wrestling is kind of in the winter. And then in the spring, we have track and field. And what am I missing?
Soccer.
No. Oh, I put soccer in the winter.
Yeah.
Okay. I apologize. Do I need to do this again? So in the fall, volleyball and cross country. In the winter, basketball, wrestling. In the spring, soccer and track and field.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
And along with sports, I know a lot of you are going to be incoming seventh graders. Like Miss Calderon said, follow us on social media because the regulations are hopefully getting better and better for us. With sports, we will be planning or are in the process of planning sports clinics with the high school to have some of their coaches and some of our coaches working together for a brief period of time in June and maybe in July to do clinics on volleyball, wrestling, basketball, to get you guys familiar and ready to go for when our seasons start next year. Again, unfortunately, it's all going to rely on what the numbers are doing and what this pandemic is doing by the time we get back. So hopefully we can offer all of the sports like Ms. Calderon explained. Somebody asked about snacks, which is kind of tied into the pandemic. Right now, eating inside of classrooms is actually not allowed because you would be having to take your mask off and eat in an environment where you have other students possibly around you. So as of right now, there's absolutely no eating or drinking in class. At the point at which the pandemic is so far gone that we can offer that again, it's going to be up to your individual teachers what they allow, what they don't allow. Some teachers are okay with water, not okay with sugary drinks or sugary food, just to prevent rodents and other critters from trying to crawl into class.
I have somebody say, or how are we going to get picked up? Is that if your parent picks you up, the students can go out any one of our gates and meet their parents. Otherwise, they get dropped off by the bus. If we have walkers, we have a walker gate. It just depends on your transportation. And that's another thing your parents will want to fill out on the parent portal is your transportation form.
The first day of school, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat, is August 5th, which is a Thursday. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat so people can have that as well as a reference.
We do not allow gum on campus. We definitely keep that off our campus so it doesn't get stuck on the concrete and get stuck on anyone's shoes.
Do you guys see the question about art and culinary arts? Go ahead.
Yes, you can take art as a full year class, and then you can take a semester long culinary with a semester long child development. So you can have all of them for 1 year.
And then, or what time does school start and end? That is, again, going to be dependent on if we're in hybrid or if we're back full time. So that we can't necessarily give you as of right now.
And several questions have popped up about lockers. Yes, you do get lockers, but they are not yours to keep. So you're going to you'll have your locker in PE. It'll be a small locker where you can put your PE clothes, your lock, and keep your PE clothes, some deodorant, your shoes in there. And then you'll have a bigger locker that you'll have access to. When you get there, you change, you put your stuff, your backpack and all your other stuff in the big locker. You lock that. You go do PE, you come back, you change, you put your stuff in your little locker, and you're good to go. However, everything's dependent on the pandemic right now and how these numbers look by the time we come back, because as of right now, we won't be using our lockers with the students that are coming back. So we'll keep you all posted on that. But I promise you, your PE teachers will take care of you. They'll show you how to use your locks, how to use your lockers, and all of that neat stuff. However, you will not have your own locker to keep stuff in all day.
You will have your own locker that is given to you with the code, but not for the whole day, like Mr. Bell was saying. Also, another important thing with lockers, it's your locker code or combination. You want to only know your locker combination. You don't want to give it to friends. You don't want to give it to anybody. And you also do not want to store your friend's items in your locker. It is your locker assigned to you. So just be mindful of that.
Changing for PE, the coaches allow the students about 8 minutes in the beginning and 8 minutes at the end.
I'm going to go back to your presentation, Julie.
Absolutely. We put some important things to follow, just reminders, and students need to select their electives. Anything on this sheet that's in red, you can click on for more information. So if you click on select electives, it will take you back to the 6th grade presentation. And in that presentation, it tells you how to select your electives. You'll want to do that as soon as possible. We've had lots of questions on the first day of school. It is actually on August 5th. If you hit August 5th, the student calendar will come up for next year. You'll want your parents to complete their annual update in the Infinite Campus Parent Portal. We send out a lot of information, and so we want to make sure your address, phone number, and email addresses are up to date and current so that you don't miss anything. You'll want to make sure you follow the HGH Roadrunners on social media, and the links are on the different icons. So if you click on Facebook, it will take you to the Facebook page and Instagram and Twitter. And Miss Calderon also already showed you the website. I would check it almost daily, just scroll through it, kind of look around. You can email people from there. We have everything that is up to date is on that website. And then, like I said, depending on next year and what the guidelines will be, hopefully we will have a web orientation where 7th graders can come and tour the school, and they'll have the opportunity to pick up the PE clothes, schedules, their Chromebooks or textbooks if they need to, and check out where their classes will be.
There's a question in the chat, sorry, before you continue, how students get enrolled in honors classes.
That's a great question. So we are using your iReady and iMath scores, your math and reading scores, to place you in classes, but we're also going off of teacher recommendation. So your 6th grade teachers will recommend to me what classes you should take. And so we go off of that. And then if you've been identified as GATE, or if you're coming from a school where you've been in GATE classes that isn't necessarily from our feeder schools, then we will match your placement if you were doing well from those. That's a great question. I would really recommend to the 6th graders that you do your best on any assessment, because you don't want to blow off an assessment or have somebody help you when you're struggling and might need some help. And you don't want to blow it off and rush through it, because we want to really see what you're doing and what you're capable of, so we place you in an appropriate class. We don't want the class to be too hard for you, but we also don't want the class to be too easy for you. So make sure you take all your iReady reading and math assessments seriously, and always do your best. Okay. Any more questions? We've had a lot of great questions, and I appreciate the turnout. You're always welcome to call us or email us.
They're saying, when is the deadline for choosing electives?
By the end of this month. So by April, I would really like it done in the next 2 weeks, but I'll give you until the end of the month. So no later than May 1st.
Isabella, art class, yes, painting. Mr. Smith is going to try to do some 3D art as well with clay. We don't know what that's going to look like yet, but yes, if you watch the video that Ms. Calderon was talking about, you're going to get it straight from the teacher's mouth as opposed to me, because I will mess it all up for him, and I don't want to do that. But yes, absolutely painting in art.
There was a question about whose email things go out to. So we like or tend to communicate with the students. That is a big transition from maybe elementary to secondary world. However, we try to do a really good job in communicating with parents. We use an app called ThrillShare, where we'll send text messages out to you or voice calls out, indicating that we sent something home with your child, to let you know that, you can check with them to see a presentation or any information that has been shared with them. But in the parent portal, if you do disclose an email address, that is super beneficial, because we can take that information and give it out to our teachers. So if you want them to communicate by email, if it's provided in the parent portal, we can easily give access to that if that's your preferred method of communication.
One of our question is, do we take our photos for a student ID? We do have a company come in and take your photo. At that time, they'll give you an ID. Also, we use that photo for the yearbook. I highly encourage parents out there to do the media release if you want your student's photo in the yearbook, if you do it at that time, or if it's okay to put your student's photo on our social media. So definitely fill out the media release form when you see that.
Fernanda had a question, how do we register for 7th grade? You need to go to the Hesperia Junior website and see the presentation, and it will walk you through. Your 6th grade teacher from our feeder school should have emailed it to you. And you're already registered if you're from our feeder school. You just need to choose your electives, and your parent needs to update the parent portal.
Providing a direct link in the chat to go to the presentation as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, parents, Ms. Calderon mentioned that we communicate a lot through student email, and the reason isn't because we're trying to bypass parents. It's because we know that that's a way to get information to everybody on campus. So what we'll do is, and I think she mentioned it, but I'll reiterate, we'll send an email to all of our students, 7th and 8th or both, and we'll follow that up with a phone call. Parents, check your students' emails. We sent you something. So we're really communicating with you, but it's an easy way to make sure that we are emailing every student on campus. So don't think of it as us trying to bypass or not include you. In fact, we're trying to include you because we know that's a good way to get a hold of everybody. And then we will do or follow up with Bill sharing. Just a little plug, follow us on YouTube as well, YouTube channel. We just started a new video blog series here, the Unpodcast. It's all things Hesperia Junior High and education. Jump on there, check out our first episode was yesterday. We just put it up there yesterday. We'll get out a lot of information that way. Yesterday's episode has everything to do with safety protocols for coming back to school in the hybrid model, but it'll apply to you all as well. So check it out, follow us, like us, drop some suggestions on future topics you might like to hear.
There's a question, if we choose electives but want to change the electives, how do we do that?
That's a great question. You just need to pop back into your portal on Infinite Campus, and there's an X by it, and you can X out of it and re-choose your electives the same way you chose them the first time. So great question.
We do hearing and vision tests. Does anybody want to touch upon that? A student asked if those still occur on our campus as well.
They do.
They usually do those through PE. All the district nurses usually come over and they spend a couple days through the PE doing hearing and vision about once a year.
And then when will we know if our student gets accepted for the inter-district transfer?
As soon as I get those on my desk, I'm looking at them and making that decision. Parents, just so you're aware, the decisions are based on A, boundaries, B, space and availability within our program or programs. We try to do our best to accommodate everybody, but I want you all to be aware that legally I have to make sure that I'm servicing the students that live within Hesperia Junior High boundaries. Legally, they come first. Then students that are within HUSD or the Hesperia Unified School District boundaries, legally, then I can see them. After that come students that are from neighboring districts and or cities. So a lot of parameters go into making that decision. It's not an easy decision. We are very, very proud of the fact that we have a lot of students that are wanting to come to Hesperia Junior High. We appreciate you all. We need you guys. However, those decisions, again, I don't take lightly. A lot of times we'll tell parents, this is not a no, it's a we got to wait and see what the numbers do, because a lot of times it'll look like we have a certain number of students. Some of those students won't show up at the beginning of the year, and then I can then start to accept a lot of those transfers that we had to kind of put on hold. So bear with us. On some instances, we will tell you that space is an issue, because again, I have to make sure that we have space for the students within our boundaries, district boundaries, and then neighboring cities.
There is a question, do we need to get a middle school shot?
Oh, yes.
Well, there is a Tdap shot that is required. So if you have not gotten the Tdap shot or do not have an up-to-date shot, I don't know how the up-to-date works, so I apologize, but you will need to make sure that you're up to date with the Tdap shot. Parents, let's make sure that our kiddos are up to date by the time they start 7th grade. I would imagine if they're going to school right now in 6th grade, that they're up to date. So let's make sure that they're ready to go for 7th grade.
And one of the students wants to know a little bit more about ASB again.
I would recommend watching the video because I think the ASB students do the best job at explaining ASB, but they're basically in charge of all of our activities, our noontime activities. I really
Dances.
recommend, yeah, dances. I really recommend watching their video because I believe the students themselves created it, and that will probably give you the best feel for what that class.
Yeah, I want to point out Isabella, Arriaga, and Aubrey right now. Isabella, I'm as excited as you are. I think you're more excited. I love that energy. That needs to spread. You need to make sure that you are spreading that energy and enthusiasm everywhere. We love that. And in fact, kiddo, don't worry about making friends on the first day. I promise you, you're going to make friends. My own daughter came to this school from a different elementary school. She didn't know anybody here. She's made several best friends that she's still friends with, even during distance learning, that have completely, helped her with distance learning. Please, 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 you spread that excitement and make sure all your friends know how cool it's going to be here at Hesperia Junior High and how cool the next year is going to be, even though I'm sure your school years are cool right now. They're not going to be as cool as here at the junior high.
And I think there's going to be a lot of kids the first day that don't have any friends, and there's going to be a whole bunch of kids looking to make friends. So it's going to be super easy on the first day.
You guys can come find us and hang out with us, talk to other kids. Let's do it.
A question says, when will club start? That will start when the school year starts. So might not start right away, but we're hoping those do have to be approved through ASB. So hopefully September, if not October.
Amy Martinez, my office will notify you if you got accepted for the intro or inter-district transfer.
I had a message from Angel. Hi, Angel. I hope you're doing well.
If you have any more questions, Mrs. Wayless, are you done with the slides, their presentation? Yes. Okay, perfect. I will hide that.
Appreciate that.
Perfect. So if you have questions, we still have a few minutes on here. If you need anything answered, anything we can go back over. This will be available for you to rewatch if you're just joining us now. We will have it available on our YouTube channel along with our Facebook feed, and we'll provide the direct link on our website as well.
And don't forget to start following us on our social media platforms. Great way to stay informed, even if it's still this year. You can still follow us and see what's going on and just kind of get prepared and see the cool things we got going on.
Most likely we will use Google Classroom. However, some teachers use different formats, so it just depends. But if you are using Google Classroom as a 6th grader, you're going to be a pro and you're going to rock it in the 7th grade.
Giselle Duran, don't worry. We will take care of you. We'll make sure that you get on the right bus. If you get on the wrong bus, kiddo, I promise you, our bus drivers, our school police officers, Mr. Jones, Ms. Calgren, and myself will drive out to find you if we have to. You're going to be fine. We're not going to let anything like that happen to you, okay?
Yeah, Isabella asked if we need to talk to someone. How can we talk to you guys? First of all, all of our offices are always open. We're always walking around at lunch. You could stop and say hi to any one of us at any time. You can email any of your counselor, whether that's Ms. Acosta or Mrs. Suelos, and say, hey, can I come in and talk to you? They'll call you up. Whatever you need, just let us know, and we'll make sure we help you out.
Absolutely, anytime. And counselors are something you don't have at the elementary school. So they're starting to, a few elementary schools do, but we're available to you. Personal problems at school, problems with friends, parents, siblings, want to bring up your grades, want to share something fun. I'd love to hear the fun and exciting stories as well.
There was a question. Oh, what if you don't have the option to select, it jumped, electives on Infinite Campus?
You might not be enrolled with us, or I would actually have your parent call in and talk to one of our assistants, because they can see what's going on behind the scenes and they can walk you through step by step to make sure it's done correctly.
In regards to the inter-district transfer, one of the parents wants to know if our school will inform them that they've been accepted.
Yes, ma'am. So inter-district transfers, any kind of transfer comes through my office. I make the decision based on a lot of different parameters, like I tried to explain. And then my office will notify you as to whether or not you were accepted, or we have to wait and see if our numbers change or not. But again, from the ones that I've signed lately, I have not denied very many. I think maybe 2 or 3 were denied. But for the majority of them, they've been accepted. So it's either going to be my assistant, Ms. Sandoval, or our assistants up in counseling, Ms. Costa's assistant, Ms. Dudley, and or Ms. Herrera. On some occasions, I will call home as well. So don't be alarmed if you get a phone call from me either.
I think a parent's asking, can you explain what is meant by already being registered if you're coming from a feeder school? She put theater school, but I'm pretty sure it's feeder school. It's okay. No worries. We got you. We know the lingo. So if you want to explain that.
That's, so a feeder school is a school that directly, those students come to us. They live in our direct boundaries. So that would be, oh boy, Miss Asuelos might have to help me here. Maple, Eucalyptus, some of cypress, some of topaz, some of cottonwood, some of mesa, and Hollyville.
Joshua Circle.
Joshua Circle. How can I
Yes.
See, when there's 8 of them, yes, of course, Joshua Circle, we get all of their students. So that's what we mean by feeder school. So if you live in our bounds and you attend one of those schools, you were automatically rolled in for next year. But if you are in doubt, please just give us a call. We can check it real quick and make sure that you are enrolled.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but if you were in one of those schools on an intra or inter-district transfer, you're going to have to redo that to come to our school.
Yes.
So,
one student is interested. What are counselors, if you don't mind her asking?
Absolutely.
So what is your job? In a nutshell.
I was like, how long do we got? We got 2 minutes? No.
Yeah. We're here for the students, actually, and we work with you in any capacity that you need. If you need some extra help, just having a hard day or having an issue with a friend or having an issue with a teacher or a parent, we're here to listen and to provide you guidance to kind of navigate through junior high school. It's a tough time, and we can talk about academics, we can talk about personal problems, we can talk about careers. What are your interests in becoming whatever you want to be, and how do you get there? What schooling do you need to get there? We're here for a lot of things, and what's kind of cool about us is what you talk to us about is confidential, unless it involves safety. And if it involves safety, then we have to notify somebody to help, because it's our job to keep you safe. But you can tell us, and we won't share your business with other people. And it's just kind of a outlet. I don't know, Ms. Acosta, you have some things. That's what we do with students, but then we're also behind the scenes doing the master schedule and scheduling you in classes and work on testing and help teachers. So we do.
Yeah, we're in parent-teacher conferences and IEP meetings, and you'll see us around all the time. We're involved with Avid. We're involved everywhere, basically. But most important, we're there for you as the students to come and see us. And we have certainly, as I know, all of us have missed our students, but I certainly have missed my ones that I typically see frequently, that I get to know very well. I've missed having that this last year. So I'm looking forward to meeting my current 7th graders that will be 8th graders next year.
And we have a couple more questions kind of about accepting into the school. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you're good.
Do we have to be accepted to the school, or what happens if we don't get accepted? We are a public school. You do not get accepted into Hesperia Junior High. If you live within a certain area around the school, you come here. No questions. You don't have to do inter-district transfers. If you live in Hesperia Unified District boundaries, let's say you live closer to Cedar Middle School, but you know that you want to come to Hesperia Junior High, you have to apply for that transfer. If you are in Ranchero's boundaries, or you should be going to Ranchero Middle School, but you want to come here, the same thing applies. What happens if you don't get accepted? You would go to your home school or your neighborhood school, i.e. an example would be if you live by Cedar, you would go to Cedar. If you live by Ranchero, you would go to Ranchero. So nothing bad happens, nothing that's going to hurt you or not let you learn. Those schools have great programs. It just so happens that we're a little bit biased and we are a little bit more prone to thinking that we're the better school, but they have great teachers at their schools, great programs at their schools, just like us.
People were talking about if we were in hybrid or online, how do we transition to the 7 periods? You would just have different Google Classrooms, and your teachers would allow you to connect via Zoom or Google Meet. But that's for another day. We don't need to worry about that. We just want to give you guys the bigger picture, picking your electives. As things get closer, we'll totally guide you and direct you in that process. So don't make that your worry. Focus on the exciting time that you have right now to pick your electives and be excited for middle school.
Yes. And I'm excited to work with you too, Miss Cabrera. That was nice of you to mention Mr. Ozuelos. Joshua Circle has a special place in my family. So I can't wait to meet everybody.
I'm sorry, Brittany, that happened to you. Again, as we said, we try to do mass communication out to our students, and we do try to follow up with RealShare. So we will definitely keep your concerns in consideration for our future communication, and we will ensure that we get better at it.
And two, speaking of calling, if your number changes after you enroll in Infinite Campus and your phone number changes or address changes, call the school. That way, when we are communicating, we're sending those calls out. It'll go to the number that you put in Infinite Campus. So if it does change, you switch numbers, let us know so you don't miss out on those calls. And we also will text a lot too to those same numbers. So if you put your text in your cell phone and you're okay getting text, we a lot of times will follow it up with a voice and a SMS text message to get that information out to parents.
And Mr. Jones, they don't even have to call in. They can just go in the parent portal and change it right there anytime.
Better.
Yeah, easy.
If you are on an IEP, we do offer special education classes. So you will be having those meetings. If you do have an IEP, they're called transition meetings. So we'll be scheduling those soon. So that way we can address all the concerns and needs that you have and get you ready for what it's going to look like at the middle school. Does anybody want to touch on iReady? We had that question twice.
Yes, we do iReady. Do we have to do iReady? Yes, that's one of the ways that we have to gauge how you all are doing in your English and in your math classes. The nice thing about the way we do iReady is that it allows teachers to see specific skills that you guys as students are going to need to work on. And it's very personalized. So it's good because then teachers can focus on different things with students where there actually is a need, as opposed to trying to work with everybody. If I don't need something and you need something, they can personalize our instruction. So that's why we do iReady, and that's how we use iReady here at the middle school at Hesperia Junior.
It is an hour and 3 minutes into this presentation. I don't want to cut us off because there are a lot of questions still happening. However, as was shared previously, if you do have any more questions that we can't get to, you are more than welcome to email us or call into the school. Again, you guys, my other people in this room, if we want to stay on a little bit longer, we totally can. I will leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, sure. Yes, please talk to your friends. We encourage that. We've been missing that. So as you're walking from class to class, feel free to talk to your friends. Don't be late to class, though.
E-clothes, yeah, you can buy them from us. If you want to go to the store and buy some blue shorts and a gray t-shirt, that's okay as well.
And Isabella, we are not sure. Do we go to school in days you guys give us, or do we go every day? So again, that's going to be dependent on if we're in a hybrid schedule or if we're back full force. So again, we don't have those decisions made yet because again, it's part of the county guidelines. So as soon as we know, we will let you know.
Have a nutrition and a lunchtime for the 2 breaks in between periods.
Yes, you can go ahead and leave the video. Again, we appreciate you all for joining us tonight. Again, you can rewatch this. We will have it on our social media accounts and our website. So thank you very much for joining us. I don't know if anybody else wants to close. Feel free.
We miss having kids. We can't wait to see you guys next year. Parents, we want to work with you guys. We want to work together. Again, let's stay involved. Parents, I know that they're getting a little bit older, but please, 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 it's a partnership between us. It's a partnership with our families. Between that work that you guys are doing at home and the work that we do here, our kiddos are going to be successful and get that diploma, get to the military, trade school, or college, whatever they want to do to be successful. They'll be in good hands at the high school. They'll be in good hands here. They're in good hands at your homes. So working together will make it happen for them. Thank you all very much for coming out. We're proud and excited of all of you guys, of all the work that our teams have been doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys. I'm going to go ahead and end our broadcast.
Thank you.
Good, everyone. We look forward to seeing you.